Hello everybody, welcome to video number 6 where we are going to build a shed. That's right, for the first time we're going to put everything we've learned to use and build an actual three-dimensional object that's not just a shape but a combination of many shapes. So let's create a new object or a new file here. Delete Dave and save, right? So kill Dave, save. We're going to call this one building a shed. Okay, so building a shed. Give it a few seconds to update, and here we go. First thing we want to do is start with a base pad. I want this base pad to be 12 feet by 16 feet. So R for rectangle. Remember, we don't drag, so click and release, pull it out, make it 12 feet. So in editing mode, 12 and then an apostrophe, comma, 16 apostrophe. So in the bottom right corner, it should say 12 feet by 16 feet, no spaces, and then hit enter. And you'll get this sort of a base platform. You can see right there, right, it kind of looked like a square because of the angle that we're looking at it. But if you orbit up, you can see that it's clearly longer than it is wide. So we've got 12 by 16. Now, remember, this is not a group yet. So anytime I draw anything on top of that, it's going to automatically merge it. First, let's pull that to mimic a concrete pad. We'll just say it's 6 inches thick. So click your push-pull tool over here, or much better, hit P on your keypad, on your keyboard, hover over, click and release, we do not drag, and pull that up. When it's pulled up, you can see in the bottom right corner, it's telling me this is 2'6". That's not what I want. It's in edit mode. My hand is off the mouse right now. I type in 6 inches, so quotation marks, and then enter. Now, if I were to grab this or hover over it, I can still edit it. This is not a group. I want it to be a group because I want to build with this as my base pad. So how can I group this? Remember, there are several ways. Well, there's 2 ways. One of them is to triple click, 1, 2, 3. That's the quickest way. We're going to make this a group. Right click on it and say make that a group. Now as I build more stuff on it, if I were to click all of this, it's not going to highlight that group, right? Because this is its own unique thing. However, this, you can see that I could click, because I just drew this rectangle randomly, I could click the inside face of this rectangle, or I could click an individual line of it, because that's not all a group yet. All right, so I've got my grouped base pad that is 12 feet wide by 16 feet long by 6 inches tall. Okay, now what we're going to do is create walls. So we want to create kind of a 6-inch wall around the perimeter of this base. So there are several ways you can do this. One that is certainly a bit not of a trick at all, but one that is much faster than all the others. And I think that's the way I will teach you. So let's do this. Click R for your rectangle tool. Click and release in a corner. So now you're drawing a rectangle out from that corner. Remember, this will be separate from the group that is our base. Come down to the opposite corner and click again to end that rectangle. What you now have is this kind of sheet on top of it, of a bunch of, like a face, and then an edge and so on, that each of those are individual, and you could click them and delete them and edit them as needed. Now what we want to do with this not yet grouped sheet is do what is called the offset tool, and offset is F. So if you click F inside, anywhere inside of this rectangle, you can see that that square starts hovering on the outside. And what you're saying is, I want to offset a line or dimensions from each of these edges. So just go anywhere near any of the edges, it doesn't matter, and click and release after you've clicked edge. Now, as you start to pull in, you can see that it is offsetting all of those external edges from the external edge. So we want to offset by 6 inches because we want a 6-inch wall. So pull it right in here like this. You can see down in the bottom right corner, that's like 2 feet, but it's in edit mode. So we're going to hit 6 inches, 6 quotation mark, and hit enter. Now, there is still a face in here. There's still a blanket that you can see kind of on my screen as these blue dots. There's also that in here around the outside perimeter, and they're separated by this line that goes around the outside. If I triple click, right, it's selecting all of that geometry. I do not want there to be something here in the middle. So I'm going to only click that. So just click that middle part and hit delete. Now all I have is my floor, right? Which if I click anywhere here, it just clicks that group because there's nothing here in the middle anymore, right? This is the floor. And I have this piece. See that ribbon around the outside? That's what I wanted to create because that's going to be my wall. So let's click that. You should be able to see the blue things come up. Sometimes when you change your view, you'll notice that SketchUp doesn't show you those blue dots, but I can see them over here. They are highlighted. So as I orbit and pan around, you can see that that actually has been clicked. So I'm going to click inside of it like this. I really would like you to be able to see it. There we go. And hit P for push pull. Remember, we don't drag, so click release, start pulling it up, and go to 8 feet. So type in your bottom right corner, 8 feet, and hit enter. So now we have an 8-foot wall. This wall that goes around the entire thing is not a group. So if I accidentally start messing with something, it's going to screw it all up. So let's make that a group before we do anything else. 1, 2, 3, selects all that geometry, not the bottom. See how this is still black and not selected? Because it's its own group. It's its own separate thing. Right click, make group. So now we have 2 groups in our model. The base, that is 12 by 16, and our walls, which surround that 12 by 16, 6 inches thick. Okay, let's now create our roof. Now this is going to be a little bit more work. We want it to be a triangular roof, and I want it to extend out past these walls 18 inches in each direction, an 18-inch overhang everywhere. So here's what we're going to do. We need to set up some guides because what I want to do effectively is kind of make a triangular roof like this, right? But obviously you can see that didn't really create it where I wanted it to be. So we need it to be where we want. So we have to use guides. Get your view set, and when you're ready, continue with the video. We're going to start here on this edge, and we are going to say, I want my roof to come out 18 inches. So click with your T tape measure, click here, release, drag it out, it's in edit mode, and type in 18 quotation marks down in the bottom right corner, which is of course going to pull that out 18 inches. So that guideline is now 18 inches out from the side of the wall. Let's do the same thing on this side. So start over here, drag it out, type in your 18 and enter. Now I want a guideline straight along this line here as well. So to do that, to extend out beyond, you can click with your tape measure anywhere where it makes that purple square. So click and release, and then drag to anywhere else on that same line, and it will extend that line out. So what this has done is it has given me a starting point over here with my line tool, right? My line tool can now start here, come over to here, and now I can go up and kind of create this. But I want that to be, oh, look at that, see? Oh no, it looked good, but it didn't really go where I wanted it to. That's why guides are so useful. So I'm gonna hit space to get out of my line tool. I'm gonna hit Control Z and Control Z to get rid of that. I want to find the center point of this wall. So again, with my tape measure, let's start over here. It starts pulling out this parallel line. Remember, we were 12 feet wide. So what is half of that? 6 feet. So I'm just going to pull it over here and type in 6 feet, enter. Now, if I go from the other side, that to that guide should be 6 feet as well from both sides. So it is. So I know that the center of my line can now meet up here. The last thing I want to do is set up the height of my roof. So if this is going over 7'6", 7 feet, I don't know. Let's just make something up. I could get all into slope and figure out exactly how high I want it to be, but let's go with 5 feet. Does 5 feet look okay for a shed? I think so. So we want to do another guide. So T for tape measure. Start anywhere on this. Make sure that it is a blue line that is visible. If you're noticing a green line, it's not going up, it's coming out, right? If you're noticing a red line, well, you won't notice a red line. It'll be either green or blue. Okay, so we want the blue one, which is the vertical. See that? That's not what we want. That's coming out towards me, like this. Okay, I don't want that. I want it to be going upwards. So just adjust your thing. And now with it on the blue, axis, we're going to type in 5 feet, enter. Okay, now I have all of the 3 points that I need. I have this point out here, this point out here, this point up here to make my triangle. So hit your line tool, L, come over here where it makes that X at that intersection of guides, click, release, remember we don't drag. So we're going to line tool from here over to here, click, it continues up this way, so we're going to click here, and it wants to continue going, so we're going to attach it back to where we started, and now we have this pitched triangular roof. Now remember, we said we wanted it to be an 18-inch overhang. That's why we've overhung here. Now, on a real home, the entire wall wouldn't come out like this, but just for the purpose, because we're just beginning, instead of building like a ladder up here and just having an eave overhang, we're going to overhang the entire roof, okay? So let's hit our push-pull tool, because this is the only thing that's not grouped, so it's still editable for us. Hit push-pull, click and release, and move it out this way 18 inches. So type in 18 quotation marks and hit enter. Now adjust your view up here, and we're going to pull it to this wall. So push-pull again, click release, and snap it to anywhere on this wall. Now it's flush with that wall. We don't want it flush, we want it to overhang 18 inches. So with it flush, we're going to click again, release, drag it out, and with it in edit mode, 18 inches, enter. So now we have a roof that's extending 18 inches over everything on our shed. What do we want to do now? We want to group that, right? We don't want to screw it up, so let's 1, 2, 3, triple click it, right click, and group it. We now have 3 groups in our model: the roof, the walls, and the base. Okay, let's delete all of our guides. So see, as you get better and better at SketchUp, you'll notice that these guides just appear everywhere. So let's delete those. Come down here to where it says display, and this button, delete all guides. That'll get rid of all the guides for you. And you can hide your bar over there again. All right, I want us to put in doors and windows now. So let's click that group, right click on it, and you can click hide. That's still there in the model, it's just invisible so that we can kind of see in and around what we're working on. I could hit Control Z to undo the last thing I did, or if I have it hidden, I can come down here to the glasses again, and I could unhide all, just the last thing or the selected thing. So let's unhide all, and there, it's back. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. Let's create a door in the front of our door, window. I do door. Let's do a door here in the front of our window. Wow, in the front of our shed. I want my door to start a foot out from the edge. So let's click our tape measure T, click on the edge, come out 1 foot, 1 apostrophe, enter. I want my door to be, let's go with 32 inches wide. So from that line, that guideline, we're going to click and release, of course, click release, pull out, and we're going to set this to 32 inches. So 32, look down my bottom right corner, quotation marks, enter. And then the height of a door, let's go 82 inches. So click anywhere on the bottom, click release, pull it up along the blue axis, and we're going to type in 82 inches, enter. So now you can see this outline of a door right here. So we want to put a hole through that wall. Well, I'm going to show you the wrong way to do this. Let's make a rectangle here, like this, and now we're going to try and push-pull it through the wall. Wait a minute, what's going on? Why can't I push-pull it through the wall? Well, because you made this its own group of geometry, right? We didn't edit the wall, we just threw a rectangular prism in there. So I'm going to delete all that, and here's what we actually should do. We should be editing our wall to make a hole in it. So let's double click our walls. Remember, now it's in edit mode. My base is grayed out and my roof is grayed out. The white part here is what we are now editing. So let's now make a rectangle. R for rectangle tool, start in one corner of our guidelines, go down to the other corner of our guidelines and make a rectangle. Now this rectangle, instead of being just on top of a group that we've already made, is now part of the group that we've made. Let's click P for our push-pull and click and release, and now start to move it back. And when it says offset limited, to 6 inches, you can click it and it will make a hole right through there. So now we've made a door. Let's hit our space bar to select and click out of it or exit, and that will now get us out of there. Let's make a window on that same side. Come out 1 foot from this direction, so 1 foot, enter, with our tape measure T. Let's go over 4 feet from that line, so it's going to be a 4-foot wide window, so type in 4 foot, hit enter. So you were going to start here with T, come over 4 feet, and we'll keep the window at the same level of the door, 82 inches high, but from this point here with our T tape measure, let's click release, come down on our blue axis 3 feet and hit enter. Now let's make that a window. So double click to be, ooh, that didn't work. Let's double click to be in edit mode, R for rectangle, corner to corner, make a rectangle in that group that is our wall, and then push pull. And the last thing I did that was push pull was the door. So I should be able to double click this and it should remember, sure enough, that the last push pull we did was 6 inches. And so it remembered it. If it didn't work for you, then you can just Control Z and push pull it the same way you did last time by going back to where it says on face or 6 inches max, like offset limited to 6 inches. All right, we're almost done. Let's throw in 2 more windows. Let's put a window in this side. We'll put it on the center. It's getting a little messy with these guides, don't you think? So let's come down here and delete all guides. Now let's work on this side. We're going to put a window right in the dead center of this wall. How long was this wall? 16 feet, right? So if we want to know center, let's go 8 feet. So with your T tape measure, start here, click and release, pull it out, and then type in 8 feet. Enter. Okay, now we want to go up 82 inches. So let's go up, T, click and release, up your blue axis, 82 inches, enter. Okay, so now we've got that same height. We want our window to be 3 feet tall, so from the guideline that you just did, come down on your blue axis 3 feet. And remember, our window was 4 feet wide total. So from center, our center line here, we want to go 2 feet this way and 2 feet this way. So I'm going to start bringing it out this way, type in 2 apostrophe enter, click on my center again and come out 2 apostrophe, or if you wanted, you could start here and come out 4. It'll put it in the same spot, right? So either go 2 feet from the center or 4 feet from over here. Now that we have our guidelines placed, let's go into edit mode, double click. We're going to create a rectangle in that space. And again, I don't think I've push-pulled anything since my last push-pull, so I'm going to double-click. Sure enough, it worked. Okay, so I'm starting to see through now. And let's do one more window. Oh, I don't know. We'll put it back here near the back corner. Let's come off of this corner. Let's do 2 feet. I don't know why. Just feeling random. Again, we need our 82 inches height. So 82. Let's do 3 feet down from that line, 3 feet, and let's go 4 feet over from this line. And there's our window layout. Double click to edit, R for rectangle, P for push pull, and double click to remember the last push pull we did. And here we have our finalized shed. Okay, I want you to send me a picture of this from this orientation so that I can see the door and all 3 windows. Let's delete our guides. So again, come over here, click the glasses, and down at the bottom, delete all guides. If you've hidden something, you can unhide all so that it reappears, and this is going to be your screenshot. I just want to give you to give me a few dimensions. So let's come down here, click dimensions, so I know you just haven't made it randomly. Let's dimension the door. Okay, so that should be 6 foot 10, which is 82 inches. Let's dimension this window here, which should be 3 feet by dimension 4 feet. And let's dimension the base, so I know it's the proper dimensions of building. And the last thing I would like is the dimension of the peak of the roof, which should be 15 feet if you extended it 18 inches in both directions. So this is the image I want to see. I have not saved it in a long time. Bad me, not good, especially you guys who are working on kind of older laptops or older computers. So send me this one. Let's come down here, snip it, create a new snip, start, so that you're going to get the whole thing in there. Something like this. And we're going to File, Save As, on my desktop. We're going to call this one Building a Shed. Building a Shed. Enter. You're going to upload that to the Building a Shed assignment. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.